what happens if Brown does in fact win? What are the ramifications of the Republican victory in Massachusetts? Well, first, obviously, ramification is health care. What's going to happen to health care reform? Well, a number of things could happen. Number one, they seat the Republican. All of a sudden, they don't have enough votes to break the Republican filibuster, and sad day for health care reform, gone. After all this time and effort and appeasing and conceding and giving in to all the different demands of all the different groups, we still get absolutely nothing. Is that possible? It's entirely possible. Okay, possibility number two. Right now, the Democrats are in an absolute panic. They got to pass it, they got to pass it, they got to pass it. So what they do is say, yeah, Coakley lost, and Brown, congratulations, you won. We're going to seat you in a little bit. Just give a couple of minutes, okay? And now, is that the right way to go? You know, is that the ethical thing to do, et cetera? No, okay? The guy won. You should seat him in the normal amount of time that it takes to seat the guy. If they cheat and they seat him, I don't know, a month later, am I going to be heartbroken? No. Now, does that make me a bad guy? Maybe it does. I don't know, okay? But here's what I believe. Bend, but don't break, okay? Don't break the rules. Don't do anything illegal. Don't do anything unconstitutional, et cetera, right? But if you happen to seat a guy a little late in order to get an important bill passed, hey, you know what? Would the Republicans do it? Of course they would, right? So maybe, and I'm being totally honest with you. If you say, hey, Cenk, that's hypocritical and that's wrong, I hear you, okay? Now, but if they do wait a little bit and they try to get this health care bill passed before Brown takes a seat, if he does in fact win, as we're doing this now, Brown is winning by a little bit with only few results in. If they don't seat him, well, they got to pass something in a hurry, right? And that's why the Democrats are in a panic. So two options exist within that realm. All right, one is we do ping pong back and forth really quickly. Okay, and this is a term that they use when they don't go to full conference. Instead, the House goes, all right, can you change this part? And the Senate goes, well, I can only change it to this much. And the House goes, well, can you change that part in this way? The Senate says, well, I can change it, but not in that way, et cetera. And they just do an expedited way, ping pong back and forth, and then maybe gets done in time and maybe it doesn't. Now, that's too much of a risk for a lot of Democrats, including the White House, so we go to option number 3, which is no ping pong, House, and all the progressives, shut up. You're taking the Senate version. We're out of time. We don't have any choices. Just sign the damn bill. Okay? Now, boy, does that suck in every imaginable way. Because the Senate version is much worse. The Senate version has the excise tax, so that some of your plans might get a 40% tax, some of your health insurance plans. Wait till people get a load of that tax. It has the mandate. It doesn't have a public option. It doesn't have Medicare buy-in. It doesn't have anything. It has less subsidies to pay for the middle class to be able to pay the new bills that they're going to get, okay, because of the mandates, et cetera, et cetera. Now, what they told us is don't worry about the Senate version. No. When they combine it with the House, it'll get better. The Senate version was always the corporate version, right? Well, now it looks like, well, isn't this a wonderful coincidence for corporate America and the health insurance companies? Turns out we got to hurry. Emergency. You know how everything happens in emergencies. Oh, we got attacked on 9/11. Emergency, attack Iraq. What does one have to do with the other? Nothing. It doesn't matter. It's an emergency. Oh, the economy's crashing. Emergency. Give $700 billion to the bankers. Emergency, shut up. And now we have the emergency of the Republicans winning in Massachusetts. Emergency. Just hurry up and pass the corporate version of health care reform. And not a single progressive change. But don't worry, here's the funny part. They say, no, we'll pass this. And don't worry, progressives. Don't worry, House of Representatives and the Democrats there. Don't worry, unions. Don't worry, anyone who cared to have any of the options that made it stronger and real reform. Because after we pass this version, we'll try again with all the provisions you like. You're kidding, right? I mean, I hope no one believes that. I mean, you can't be in politics all this time and actually believe that. But a lot of progressives right now, and certainly a lot of Democrats, number 2 guy, Steny Hoyer in the House, who's a corporatist through and through anyway. He loves the Senate version while pretending to fight for the House version. He's like, well, what can we do? I guess we just have to pass the Senate version. It was pretty good. I liked it anyway. But don't worry, we'll come back. We'll come back to it. All the things that the progressives want. Yeah, we'll do it in the next bill, right? The next day, right afterwards. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do any of that. So, good luck. Now, there is possibly number 4, and there we have a ray of hope. Here's what happens. They run out of time, they can't do it, or progressives in the House, like Congressman Weiner, say, no deal, okay? Not going to do it, and not interested in this version of health care reform. And then they have to go back to the drawing board, and they don't have 60 votes. Well, if they don't have 60 votes under any and all circumstances, and they wouldn't if Brown wins in Massachusetts, well, if they still want to do health care reform, there's only one way to do it: reconciliation. In reconciliation, they only need 51 votes, and they could make the bill much, much stronger and make it real reform. Now, that's what they should have done in the first place. If they're out of all other options, it might force them to do the right thing, which they should have done in the beginning. So it could be, ironically, good news if the Republican wins in Massachusetts. And it would be irony on top of irony if a Republican wins Kennedy's old seat and that winds up passing health care reform that Ted Kennedy is more in favor of, or was when he was alive, obviously. Now, that's the hopeful version. You think that's going to happen? My guess is no. My guess is, if Brown wins, the minute he does, the House is going to buckle like a house of cards. They're going to pass the Senate version, which is the worst version of health care reform, without any changes at all, in a complete panic, and they will not come back and fix a damn thing. And I hope I'm wrong, and I could be wrong. Maybe they will come back and tweak some things. They say some of the provisions that the progressives like are actually related to the budget and can pass through reconciliation. If they do that, I'll give them all the credit in the world, and I'll say Obama's a master strategist. He got the difficult parts passed when he needed to, then came back and fixed it later. I'm perfectly ready to do that. My guess is it won't. What we've seen so far, they're going to pass the worst version, and they're not going to come back to fix a damn thing. So, how you like them apples? So if you thought it was bad enough that a Republican might win in Massachusetts, you might not know exactly how bad it really is.